All right, what's up, people? And welcome back to another anticipated releases video. My name is Mike.
My name is Nick.
And I'm Travis.
And we're the only Nintendudez that matter. And we're talking about September releases.
Shots fired at Matt right there.
Yeah.
Actually, it was Jake.
Yeah, I'm actually talking about Jake and Erik. No,
Every single one of them, all shots fired.
Yeah. So as far as the month goes, to kind of give an introduction, it's a little bit bigger, I think, than the past couple months have been. I can't say that I wasn't a part of the August one, but
it's a bigger month.
Yeah, this one has quite a few games that I'm actually excited to get. There's a few games that we're all pretty interested in. Nintendo has a couple of bigger releases compared to what they've done in other months, and so it's a bit exciting on all fronts for us. So who would like to talk about their game first?
I'm going to group both of these that are into one. One of the ones, and I would argue is probably one of the bigger Switch releases for this month, is Daemon X Machina. We were discussing it a little earlier, and the way that we were just kind of thinking about it is it's giant robots fighting. I mean, it's nothing that really would completely engage me personally, but I know it's a pretty big release. The gameplay looked very cool, looked very dynamic. If you're a fan of the Xenoblade series, you can think of the Skells from Xenoblade Chronicles X, and it's basically like fighting ones like that. Kind of has similar gameplay to Starlink in a way, but either way, it's kind of a broad overview of Daemon X Machina. Again, just mentioning it as a bigger release. A big one that's coming out for I believe PC, Sony, and Xbox. I will have to fact check that. Is Monster Hunter World Iceborne. This is actually an expansion, kind of the same way that they did with Horizon Zero Dawn Frozen Wilds, where it's more content for this game, and it's one of those expansions. It's not like I believe this is adding along to Monster Hunter World, but Iceborne is more of an expansion, a bigger world to do things in. I'm sure they're gonna bring in new weapons, new monsters to fight, most of them being in like the frozen tundra and whatnot. So all of those all grouped into one would be pretty good. I want to loop both of these into one because there isn't a ton that I'm too excited about. I do think Monster Hunter World looked really cool, and again, I've always been on the fence about getting it, and I'll wait to see about Monster Hunter World Iceborne to see if it's worth finally pulling the trigger and actually getting it. What I've seen so far is the gameplay looks fantastic, and I've only heard good things and good articles, people being excited about this Monster Hunter World Iceborne expansion, which is kind of weird because I'm actually more excited about Monster Hunter World than Daemon X Machina. I don't know, maybe the Daemon X Machina is slipping under the radar, but I think Monster Hunter World would be more exciting to me, even though the game was already out. It did get nominated for Game of the Year last year, though, so it has a really good following. I don't know how many active players there are now, but it is a great game.
Yeah, it definitely seems like your kind of game. I really liked Monster Hunter World. I am not a big scavenger player, so when it comes to like having to follow enemies and tail them and collect a lot of different items in order to unlock new things, like I'm not usually a fan of games like that. I feel like it's just kind of time consuming, but with all that being said, it's a fantastic scavenger type game. So I'm not saying it's a bad game, it's just not my style, but it nails what it's trying to be perfectly as far as, making you go on these hunts and trying to find rare items and search for all these new and awesome looking monsters. It's a really fun adventure, and so I haven't seen too much about the Iceborne expansion with it and everything, but it's a fantastic looking game, and I highly recommend it.
I remember in an interview at the Game Awards, they even talked about how they were planning to support the game long term, and supporting it with expansions like this. We'll get into this maybe a little later. I don't know if we will, like this video, probably not this video, but I'm not a huge fan of live service games if it's not obvious. But this is what I really like to see. I like seeing expansions to games that we've already played, we already like, they're completed to an extent, and we just want more of it. And I like that philosophy that Capcom's going with here in terms of wanting to support this game long term with more expansions like this. So I do like the way that they're approaching it to give the players who want to play more Monster Hunter to play more Monster Hunter. And this game can be addicting, even though you're dressing up cats along the way. It can see it being addicting for a lot of people.
Right. Well, and the key I think is it's not an expansion being released a week after the game came out.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't feel like a money grab, whether it is or not. I don't care because it doesn't feel like one, and that's really
it's
all
like
that
8 months later too. So I'm sure they're working on it after the game was released. I'm like, if people like this, we're gonna be excited to show them more, and they are excited to see more. So it was already a full complete game, and yeah, more of a good game is good. Yes, yeah. Many times saying the word good. Travis, Mike, who's next?
I'll do mine because I'm not going to speak about this one for too long. But it is a game I pre-ordered. So and it's funny, I pre-ordered it without knowing too much about it. It's called Greedfall. I looked at a couple of pictures, and I looked at a little trailer video, and I immediately fell in love with how it looked. It was an RPG game, and so that was immediately kind of a big selling point for me. I'm a huge fan of Western-style RPGs. The graphics in it are beautiful. The character designs themselves, they almost look like musketeers in a way. There's like guns and there's magic and all that, but it seems like a very unique type of setting, one that I don't normally play. But I think one of the main reasons I bought it is because one of the things that I was reading about the other day is Western RPGs are kind of in a weird position right now where there's not a ton of, I don't want to say a lack of respect for it, but it seems like people's opinions on Western RPGs has been going down recently. So I'm hoping this is going to be one of those games that kind of breathes new life into it. A couple of the people that have, played the demos and kind of seen what it's like have been saying that it does feel like it'll be a new, refreshing experience for the Western RPG genre, which would be awesome because it's a genre that I like to see sort of reignited. I think these games offer so many hours of fun gameplay, and I love the idea of just a vast open world to explore, and this game seems like it could be that. So I'm hoping it's a successful one. The thing is, as I've kind of alluded to, a lot of these games have been they've been rather money grubby. What they do is they essentially make level grinding impossible. Excuse me. And then they charge you money to you can pay $5 and we'll give you free level ups. And it's really obnoxious. And so I'm hoping this game doesn't go down that road. I don't have that vibe from it. This game seems like it's being well received from the people that know a little more about it than I do. So I'm taking a chance on it. It's been a long time since I played a good, fun Western RPG. So I'm really hoping...
We do a lot of JRPGs. Don't do a lot of Western RPGs, really.
Yeah. Because I like both. It's just JRPGs have been a little more prevalent lately, I feel like, whereas Western RPGs haven't. So I'm hoping this can be the one that kind of takes me out of that hole and gives me a new one to play. But we'll see. But so if you're interested in Western RPGs, I think it's worth checking out. It comes out early September, so in a couple weeks, I'll be playing it, and we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah, I honestly hope it does good. I really like games that are just really staying true to, really keeps the game integrity intact, that aren't trying to squeeze more out of you than it. It's different if it's free, but yeah, that's a different topic. But I would agree. I do hope that this game, because I like seeing games like it that are just fun to play,
right,
and that feel good to play. And when you try to put that behind a paywall, it doesn't really get people excited to play your next game, because do I really want to do it, or is this going to go along the same route? So I do like the approach that Tokyo RPG Factory would have, where yes, you do finish the game, you do put it out, but it's just fun to play still.
Right.
Maybe not Lost Sphere, but that's a different story. All right, sure. Travis, go.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with the game that I'm less excited for, just because I have no means of being able to play it. And that is Gears of War 5, because I've always enjoyed the previous installations of the game. I mean, a chainsaw and a gun, just how can that not be fun? On top of, curb stomping and all that fun stuff, where it's just gore, and it's, correct me if I'm wrong, but the E3 presentation never showed actual gameplay, right? It was just
the Microsoft one, right?
Yeah, the Microsoft one.
I don't think it did, now that you mention it. I remember they're talking about getting a lot of studios for their next, for that Project Scorpion or whatever, or Scorpio, next console, but I don't remember hearing anything about Gears of War 5.
Well, because they talked about it in a cinematic, and then they, brought out these people, and it looked like they were about to, do this, escape from wherever they were at, the Hive, because, they planted a bomb or something. But I don't remember actually seeing gameplay of that thing. But that game mode, while they were describing it, I'm like, that sounds super cool. You plant a bomb, and then you gotta just hightail out of there, kill hordes of enemies as they're coming to you, but you still have to, move quickly, otherwise you'll die from the bomb.
Right.
And I just like those high stakes, I just need to do things quickly aspects. CJ and I would play Horde all the time, and though the first waves are always a joke, the later ones are fun. So it looked like they added a new game mode, which always excites me, just because it's just a new way to play a game that you enjoy. And I don't know much about the campaign. I know it's in the last one, they started following his kid, right?
Yeah, I think. I didn't play 4 yet, so I can't speak on
I didn't play 4 since I didn't have an Xbox One, so I didn't have a means of playing it either. But I'm pretty sure that's what Cody said when he played it.
Yeah.
But if you're a Gears of War fan, it looks pretty good. Like I said, I haven't really seen much gameplay of it, but the cinematic trailers look cool.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you said.
I'm always worried when it's only cinematic, though.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I think Gears of War 4 was announced that way too. I think, and Gears of War 3 was too, actually. I think they like those emotional cinematic trailers. But I'm with you. I think Gears of War, one of the cool things about it is it's still one of those games that does what you said, and that's have a variety of different modes. It doesn't just thrive on team deathmatch and co-op gameplay. You know, it has all these different fun ways to play it. And I think that's what makes it so fun. Like, I love the horde mode in it where, like, it's you and a partner, and you just have waves of enemies coming at you. And it's like, there's so many different ways to play it. It doesn't get old. And I think that's one of my favorite things about Gears. And so I didn't know about this new game mode, so that sounds awesome. I'm glad that they're adding more to it.
Right?
So, I would agree.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to my one that I'm actually more excited about, and that's Dragon Quest XI S. This is the definitive edition coming out for the Nintendo Switch. Coming out in, I know, surprise, which actually it's gotten good. It's gotten some good press behind it after people have actually played it and actually seen that it runs pretty well too. But yes, Dragon Quest XI S. The definitive edition. The reason why, I remember about a year ago we were talking about it when it actually got released, I believe on PS4 and PC. But the reason I'm happy about it now is because this definitive edition is actually including the demake that was in the Japanese-only 3DS version of Dragon Quest XI. And I was so excited about that demake version where it had like the 2D graphic, the nice pixelized graphics that looked like more Dragon, I think it was like Dragon Warrior 3 and 4. Those kind of old school graphics where I believe what you have to do is you have to go into like a hospital, not like hospital, but maybe like an inn to switch it over, because you can't do it like in tandem. Like there has to be an actual point, because like obviously the whole screen would be completely different. But I'm really excited to see that kind of change. I was super excited about it. I was really disappointed to see that it was only for the Japanese version, but now that they're bringing it to the Switch, I knew that it was probably going to be a day one buy for me just because of that. Already, people have already talked about how they're not usually fans of JRPGs, but there's something about Dragon Quest XI that they're really liking. So I already like the art style. I mean, of course, Akira Toriyama is already a great character designer as well, also known for like Dragon Ball Z. If you're obviously, I'm sure we've all watched that growing up. But everything about this game, like you've already heard about the reviews coming out already. So it's pretty much going to be the same game, but just for the Switch. So I was already excited for it back then, but I said before that only if the demake comes. Now the demake is happening, and I'm like, I'm going to buy it. And so it was like the weirdest thing for me to hold on. I'm like, I know this game's going to be good. I have a means to play it, but I need this to be in it. And they gave it, so gotta be true to my word. Yes, I am going to be getting it. But it does look fantastic. One of the reasons why I'm sure this game is actually going to get have a little bit of a resurgence is because of the fact that they added Hero into Smash Bros. And because of that, they're probably wondering, okay, who is this other character? And once a character just gets added to Smash Bros., suddenly their series just gets blown wide open, where it's like, oh, what game are they from? What is it? I mean, unless it's Fire Emblem, but it's like, what game are they from? What?
Well, that's just because that's half of Smash now, so we don't care anymore.
Any person with a sword is from Fire Emblem now. Link is from Fire Emblem now. Anyway, everything about the releasing the games and the DLC character into Smash Bros. Very similar to the time is only going to boost Dragon Quest for the Switch. And again, the portability aspect cannot be underrated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the idea of a demake. I think that's kind of cool. I love games that do that. It pays homage to what the game was like before. So.
Oh, and the only other Dragon Quest game I played before this was Dragon Quest 7, and so I was either saying 8 or 11 is going to be my next one, and so now it's going to be 11.
Yeah, well, there you go. Awesome.
Perfect.
All right, so I think I'll move on to my second game, and it's one that I'm excited for. I saved it for second because I think it's one we're all kind of excited for. Or at the very least, it's a Nintendo channel, and so you guys are probably excited for it watching this. And that is the Link's Awakening remake that is going to be coming out for the Nintendo Switch. This is really cool. It wasn't a huge surprise to me. I think this is something they've kind of been moving towards. They didn't remake Link to the Past, but with Link Between Worlds, it essentially felt like, I mean, obviously it's a sequel, but it was sort of their way of redoing and kind of revamping what Link to the Past was. This seems like
the map was the regular Light World map was virtually the same.
Right. So it definitely felt like they were just going for remastering that game. The graphical style seems very similar. I think it's sort of a new thing with them to make these old school Zelda games look more cartoonish, which I like. I really like the way the graphics look. Link's Awakening has always been probably in my head my most underrated Zelda game, because I loved that game. I love sort of the cameos in it, the Mario characters that are in it, like when you have the Goombas and everything. It's a really funny and quirky game. It doesn't fit in to the rest of every Zelda game, but I think that's what makes it special, is it feels so different. It's very unique. It's very lighthearted compared to a lot of the other Zelda games that are out there, especially the modern ones that came out. Like Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild have very dark stories. This game, Link's Awakening, is very kind of bright. It's mellow. It's a very jumpy, happy type of game. And so it's kind of nice to see that coming to the Nintendo Switch. Link's Awakening is one of those games I would have banked on never showing up again. It kind of just came out for the Game Boy. People liked it. And then it just kind of sits there. So seeing Nintendo kind of give attention to that game is really, really cool. And I love like the complete graphical updates. I'm glad it's not just a simple port. You know, I'm glad they're showing that they care about the game and that they want to make changes to it and make the game seem a lot more fun. So I'm
Dungeon
excited
Creator.
for it. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. You might be able to talk about that more than I can, because I don't know too much about that, but I'll let you do that.
Yeah, one of the biggest things about especially those old school 2D Zelda games, because they have aspects of being a dungeon crawler. It's like an action adventure game with a whole bunch of dungeon crawlers in terms of getting certain things to be able to progress throughout the world. One of the main ones for Link's Awakening is finding the instruments. Finding the instruments because you need to get all the instruments to awake the Windfish. And every single time as you're going across, they're like, oh, it's like, if you wake the Windfish, this whole island is going to vanish and stuff like that. It's actually a really cool way, and it was done originally for the Game Boy, which is pretty cool, and they partnered with Capcom as well. So, I mean, I have mixed feelings about certain things that Capcom does, but when they were working on these Game Boy games, because they also had a part in Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, they did a really great job. I haven't ever beaten Oracle of Seasons. I'm very close to the end. I have to find where I am and just jump back into it, because I really did enjoy Oracle of Seasons, especially the Dancing Dragon theme. But anyway, going back to the whole dungeon crawler thing, they actually have created a mode in there to allow you to basically create your own kind of dungeons. And I'm not sure if you're going to be able to share this online. I would hope that they have that. But just seeing that one feature being added, I think is absolutely genius. Even if it's just whatever the screen is, and being able to like have drops, have certain enemy placements and whatnot, it just allows so much creativity. And you saw it originally with Mario Maker for the Wii U, then Mario Maker 2. I think that there's only good things that can happen when you're giving them the tools to create your own stage. Well, I would argue maybe not as much for Smash Bros. For Ultimate. That one got a little... As long as you don't give them the opportunity to draw it themselves, I'll say that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, usually you enable people's creativity, and you let them get to feel like a little bit of a developer themselves. And I think that's such a really powerful thing, to give them a more interactive way to play the game. And I think that's such a cool way that Link's Awakening, a game that was made ages ago in the beginning of like Nintendo's like surge and like their handheld dominance, to now, I think it's just everything seems to be fitting for what they're doing for Link's Awakening. I can understand that the graphics can be polarizing. I'm on your side, Mike, where I think they look really cool and I would be really excited to play it. And yeah, another cool thing about this game is they have like the old school Mario enemies where they actually have like Goombas and Chain Chomps. But overall, I am super excited about this game as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think the coolest thing about that Dungeon Creator 2 is, obviously with Mario Maker 2 being out, it's like, it's very popular doing all this creative stuff. I've been so into Mario Maker 2 and all the levels. I don't think there's any chance the Dungeon Creator is going to be as popular, but the fact that it's still an option that's out there and we'll be able to play all these different varieties of dungeons is so exciting to me. And so that's something I completely forgot about that just has me super excited again for this game. So just kind of to summarize it, all in all, it seems like a really cool game. I love that Nintendo's giving love to one of their older games like this, and you know, hopefully we see this more. I'd like to see something like this for Oracle of Ages and Seasons at some points. But yeah, I'll take what I can get so far, so we'll see.
Totally agree.
Yep.
All right, Travis, finish us off.
Okay, so I am now going to do a game that I am very excited about, and that is Borderlands 3.
Wait, you like that series?
I don't even want to know how many hours I put into it on Steam now.
He's dabbled.
It's
at least more than 5.
Oh yeah.
Maybe 500.
500, I think, honestly, is maybe even lowballing it.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. No.
Sorry for interrupting.
CJ and I have played through the campaign God knows how many times. We have some of the people in OP8, which is when you max out your level at 72 and then keep beating it, so then you are in a place where every enemy is at least 8 levels ahead of you, which means your damage is... Anyway, we played it a lot. We have several characters in that, and we're just super excited to finally be able to play Borderlands 3, which I did look it up. It does come out on consoles the same time as Epic Games.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Because that was a whole thing that was scary, was that they're like, this is an Epic exclusive, but only for...
PC Epic exclusives for like 6 months, and I know they got a lot of crap for that.
Oh, yeah. Because I have it on my PC, but I'm going to have to get on the PS4 because I don't want to give Epic Games my credit card information. Because I like having my own money.
Yeah, that's usually nice.
Yeah. So that was a worry that I had, but it is coming out on consoles on the 13th as well. So I'll be getting on my PS4, and CJ and I are going to be playing online, and you will not see me again for 500 hours straight.
I'm worried because that's also going to be... Oh, wait, no, it's going to be the month after Astral Chain. Never mind. I was going to say, we're not going to see Travis at all.
It's 2 weeks after Astral Chain, because Astral Chain comes out on the 30th.
All right, so Astral Chain 2, basically, we just got to section off that 1 month where Travis isn't going to be doing anything.
I mean, as long... I can still talk and play, right? So...
Yeah, that's true.
I can do these things. It's the other stuff that'll be difficult.
Yeah, it's the actual gameplay stuff. I can't play 2 games at once.
You can't.
Well, you can, but it's only if it has to be like level grinding for one and not paying attention to the other. But anyway.
Oh my god, I could be playing on the Switch, playing Astral Chain in handheld
level
mode,
grinding.
and then level grind and board. Oh my god.
It's
possible.
Go.
It's possible. I do want to point out for this, I know that I'm not going to unpack the whole thing of a whole can of worms with the Epic Games Store because that's a whole different situation. And let's face it, it's just covered in controversy right now. And not many people are liking the fact that they went Epic Store exclusive, especially because it's Borderlands. They know it's going to sell crazy well. There's no reason for them to really do it. But hey, that's not my decision. One thing that I do want to point out is that the press coming up to this game, and I remember talking about it with Travis previously, it hasn't been the best. And I will argue that Randy Pitchford, the CEO of the I can't remember of what the group is called. Gearbox. But yeah, Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox, kind of went on a crazy temper tantrum. Actually,
that doesn't
funny
sound
how
like
bad.
my Randy.
Actually, funny how bad of a temper tantrum that he went on, and is really overshadowing like some really nice press that this game could be getting. But yes, overall, like it's owned by Take-Two, and people have been excited about this game, but they've had certain things like there was a YouTuber that was potentially selling information that are like leaked information, and like Take-Two came by with some goons and like threatened him and like copyright striked his channel or something like that to make him stop trying to leak information. There was Randy Pitchford saying that because he's tried to say there's going to not be microtransactions in the game. There are cosmetic microtransactions and hopefully expansions to the game. Personally, I think I wouldn't want them in the game if it doesn't break it. I'm not a huge Borderlands fan, so I don't really mind as much, but when a journalist called him out on it, and Randy Pitchford went on a temper tantrum saying, "Why would you F me like this? You know what I was talking about." Like he's really overshadowing what a great game this could be. And it seems like Randy Pitchford had too much of his hands in this game, and because of that, like again, Claptrap's voice actor is not coming back because of, again, issues with Randy Pitchford. There's a lot of crap I wanted to say that's been going into this game that I want to warn you about because I feel like it's fair to let you know about the game that you're going to be getting. But again, it's a Borderlands game. It will have microtransactions, but microtransactions have a spectrum to how bad they can be. It's not going to be as bad as loot boxes, but it's not going to be like expansions for Monster Hunter World. There is a spectrum, and personally, I don't agree with certain ones, but they are there, just as a heads up. Cosmetic microtransactions, if they don't bug you, then you should be fine with this game. That's what I just want to warn people about. I'm not saying not to bring down the excitement that people have. I just want to tell you that Randy Pitchford is a piece of crap, and that he's taking away some good publicity that this game could have. It's not running into the release date with a lot of not hitting the ground running, I guess. I don't know the right way to say that. Randy Pitchford screwed them up. That's all I'm saying.
Basically.
But yeah, he hasn't done the game justice, that's for sure. But overall, I know, Travis, you know if there's anything new that's happening to this Borderlands? Like, I know certain people are returning, but I mean in terms of it's still gonna be like cel shaded graphics.
Yeah,
more planets. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So basically, I think it starts off where like all the other Borderlands have been, but then Sanctuary, which is always your like main hub, is actually a spaceship now. So
okay,
now you can travel a bunch of different planets, and that sounds insane to me. If Pandora is the planet I remember it being, and that's just like one map now, my brain's going to explode when I'm playing this game.
I'm sure it's going to be a great improvement, because I think Borderlands 2 came out in 2012 or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm. And then they had
it's been a while.
Yeah, and then they had the pre-sequel, which wasn't bad, but they like focused on being in space so much, because basically it focused on Handsome Jack and like how he came to power. So like you're actually helping him on the moon the whole time. So because you're on the moon, they like did a bunch of like space effects. Like you basically, once you jumped, you could reach the top of a building if you really wanted to. Mm-hmm. Which gravity always just kind of bugs me in that way. That if there's no gravity the whole time, then it's like. So I don't mind if there's like certain parts of 3, because I'm sure there's going to be anti-gravity parts. But I want
gravity and ice physics—they're polarizing, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So. From what I've seen, like, this thing is insane. And then, like, each person has, like, their own special ability, but then you can, like, customize their ability based on, like, what you want it to be doing.
Yeah.
Which, in the original ones, you just have your ability button. It's going to do the same thing. You can, like, kind of have it do more or less damage type things, but, like, this one you can, like, straight up have it be different, and that's cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot more customability in it.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I hope the core game is still fine. That's all That's all I hope for.
As long as it has the witty humor, it's gonna feel like.
Yeah.
Because they also said there's like
you and CJ have both
guns.
enjoyed it a ton.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because talking about how highly you and CJ have loved them, just like I'm sure it's gonna be good no matter what. I just wanted to live up to your guys' expectations.
It's gonna be difficult to do that.
All right then. Well, I've said my rant about their dumb CEO, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's dumb. Yeah.
He's very dumb. Don't let one person ruin the game, though.
Exactly.
Yeah, those are good words to always live by.
Yeah. Mike, you wanna bring us on home?
Yeah, let's do this. So I want to start off by also apologizing to all of you guys for us not mentioning the 3 biggest releases coming out this month.
Oh God, no! Are you trying to ignore this?
NBA, NHL, and FIFA. I think it's important to mention this is that time of year where all the sports games come out. Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch is also coming out, the remastered version. So I'm excited to play that. I haven't played it, so I'll be getting that on the Switch. And I think that pretty much covers pretty much all of the important games that we wanted to see coming out. So it's an exciting month. There's a lot of awesome games coming out. As we like to talk about, there's always some stories behind the games, but overall a lot of really big fun releases coming out, and hopefully these games live up to the expectations and the hype that most of them have. As always, let us know what games you will be purchasing and buying over the next month. We always like to hear about games that maybe we're not as aware of, and we always like to know what you guys are playing, and it's always fun for us. And so thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next month. Adios.
Bye.
Bye.